Yo, 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 it's Sloshy Joshy back with another YouTube video, and today we're going to be going over the top 36 running backs. And I'm going to try to speed this up. I know a lot of people do these, so I'm not going to sit here and read all stats off and all that stuff. I'll give a couple highlights, like defensive rankings, maybe good matchups. Um, but I don't want this to be like 20 minutes or anything like that, so let's get into it. And next, so Saquon Barkley, number one, plays the Dallas Cowboys, which is fourth worst against rushing yards. They allowed 137 rushing yards per game, and they allowed the most touchdowns in the NFL last year, actually. Uh, Most rushing touchdowns, that is. So 1.5 per game. Saquon Barkley, I expect to have 100 plus yards and, at least a touchdown. We'll see. Hurts may snag one, those touch pushes are, but like him as the number one option. Christian McCaffrey, fantasy god. You guys will see. Running back, playing the Seahawks, middle of the road rushing defense. But I think he's going to get a lot of work, passing game and rushing. Bijan Robinson has a little bit of a tricky matchup against the Buccaneers. They're very good against the run. They were top five, but they were actually bottom 10 in passing yards. So I do expect Bijan to still get a lot of work in the passing game, even if he does get a little stumped on the ground. I think he's going to get a lot of passing work as well. Jonathan Taylor, doesn't have the sexiest matchup with the Dolphins. They were top 10 against rushing yards allowed, top 10 lowest in rushing yards allowed, sorry, last year with 103.7, but very good against the pass as well. I don't think Daniel Jones is going to be able to do a dang thing, um, but I do think Jonathan Taylor has a great game on the ground. Derrick Henry is my number five. Ravens playing the Bills on Sunday night. Um, Bills have a good defense, pretty middle of the road against the run, though, to be honest. And we know the Ravens, dude. They're gonna run the ball. I think they ran for I don't even want to know a lot of yards last year. And Derrick Henry's on his way to another close to 2,000 yard season. Jahmyr Gibbs, number six, playing the Packers, pretty good against the run actually. Top seven, 99.4 yards per game. Um, but I do think that Jahmyr Gibbs is the guy, and I think he's just going to get more and more touches as you're actually going to think it's more of like a 90-10 split almost now, 80 to 20. Jahmyr Gibbs, so love him. Top six, RB1 finish for sure this week. Chase Brown, number seven. He's playing the Browns, which kind of middle of the road numbers for the Browns. For the Browns on defense, sorry. A little bit of a yawn there. Chase Brown's going to get a lot of work. Hearing a lot of reports that he's going to be involved in the passing game more. Um, he has not much competition there in the backfield, so I think he's going to have a great year. Bucky Irving, number eight. He is playing who are the Bucks playing? Oh, the Falcons. That's right. Falcons are pretty middle of the road in everything. Um, Bucky's going to be a beast this year. He's not going to start on a snap count share. I wouldn't think Rachaad White will probably get five or less carries a game. I would think he's going to come in as a change of pace guy. Sean Tucker probably the one you have to worry about more than Rachaad White. But Bucky Irving's awesome. I have him high on my list this year. I think he's gonna be awesome. Josh Jacobs is number nine. Does have a tough matchup against the what am I blanking? The Lions, right? Yeah, the Lions. Um, they do have a good run defense. They were actually fifth overall in run defense last year. Um, so we'll see how that goes. They do have a worse passing defense. So, I'm sure we'll see a Packers wide receiver or two on the top list tomorrow. But I do like him on the ground and in the passing game. Josh Jacobs, number nine. Devon Achane actually is the highest projected fantasy running back this week in Yahoo League at 19 points. So he does carry that injury designation still, so I'm a little worried about that. But I do have him in my top 10. The PPR work, he's playing the Colts, which they're not very good at anything really on defense, to be honest. So it's a good matchup. So if he's healthy, if he gets the 100% green light, I love him. He'd probably move up my list even more. But for now, we're gonna put him at low end RB1 and at the 10th spot. James Conner has a fantastic matchup this week playing the New Orleans Saints. They were second worst against the run, giving up 141 yards per game, and really bad against the pass too. So I do think that James Conner is going to have a great game, 100 plus. We're talking, and probably find the end zone. So RB1 potential for James Conner this week for sure. Kieran Williams, I have him at number 12 to wrap out the RB1 projections. He is playing the Texans, which they do have a good defense, but I am expecting um, Kyren Williams to be heavily involved. Texans are very good against the pass, so um, middle of the road against the run, but very good against the pass. I do expect the Rams to establish the run early and often to try to get that going. So Kieran Williams is my 12. Alvin Kamara is my 13. He is playing the Cardinals. Oh no, what I do? I just gave away everything. The Cardinals, which is pretty middle of the road on defense, not great. So I expect Kamara to get some rushing work, and the Saints aren't good this year. So no, and Kamara's not known for his 1,000-yard seasons or anything like that. Where Kamara shines is his passing game. So expect him to get a ton of targets. Spencer Rattler is the starter, so expect some checkdowns to Kamara. Often. And once they get behind, I mean, that's just great for PPR running backs. When you're trailing and it's garbage time, those dump off running back passes, they hit like crack, dude. Those are fantasy dreams for just for PPR running backs anyway. But Alvin Kamara's gonna have a good week 13. Ashton Genty, I tend to err more on the caution side when playing with rookie running backs week one. I have no data on him, anything like that. He does get a really good matchup with the Patriots, who were bottom 10 in rushing yards per game last year. So he has a good matchup. So I do think he has a good game. We have him at 14. Chuba Hubbard, another running back I really like this week, playing the Jaguars. Really good matchup there. They were bottom 8 in rushing yards per game, passing yards per game, you name it. They have a really bad defense. So Chuba Hubbard, I really like this year as a high-end RB2. Kenneth Walker, same deal. Really like him as an RB2 this week. He is playing the 49ers, so not a dream matchup. However, they were pretty mid against the run last year, right in the middle of the pack there. And Kenneth Walker, I think, when healthy, is one of the better running backs in the NFL. So have him at 16. Hopefully, he has a good week. James Cook playing the Ravens. Now he has a tough matchup. Ravens are the best team in the NFL against the run, at least according to last year. So James Cook, does have a tough matchup. However, I do think he's a very important piece on that Bills offense, passing and rushing. So I do think he's going to get some work, often. And yeah, should be a good game on Sunday night. Marion Hampton, another rookie. Chargers running back. As of now, I think Najee is not playing Sunday. I could be incorrect on that, but if he is ruled out, Hampton probably jumps up the list a little. And if Najee does play, then maybe he does fall back a little. So that's what I have to say about him. Aaron Jones playing the Bears. Really good matchup actually for him. Do like him against the. What am I looking for here? I'm sorry. Monday night, yeah. Against the Bears, and they are a bottom 5 rushing defense team. Um, you know, just not good. So we will load him up as RB2 this week very comfortably. Tony Pollard, no Tajay Spears on the IR for the first 4 games minimum. So we do like Tony Pollard for those first 4 games at least. He is playing he has a good matchup this week. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. He's playing the Broncos, so not a great matchup. But just with the amount of work he's gonna get with no Spears in the rushing and passing game, I think he'll be okay. Especially, Cam Ward making his first start, he's gonna be dumping it off to running back just as a safety valve. Just the nature of those first start jitters kind of thing. TreVeyon Henderson, I have at 21. Um, he is playing the Raiders, which they were pretty middle of the road in all facets of defense last year. Um, I really like this guy. I like his explosiveness. I think he's going to be really good. I think we'll see him climbing up the ranks, as the season progresses. DeAndre Swift, I have at 22. He is playing the Vikings on Monday night. Now, the Vikings have a good defense for sure, but I do think he's going to be Ben Johnson's Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, I'm not saying he's Jahmyr Gibbs, but I do think he's going to be used in that way. I think he's going to get some receiving work. I think he's going to get a lot of, outside rushes, kind of taking the edge, all of that. If you watch my must adds video, I think that Roschon Johnson is going to fill in on that David Montgomery kind of role. Um, so we'll see what happens there, but I do like DeAndre Swift at 22. Jalen Warren, I have at 23. It's a really good matchup against the Jets. Pretty middle of the road against the run and pretty good against the pass. So I do think the Steelers are going to establish a good run game, get that going. So I like Jalen Warren. We'll have to see what happens with Caleb Johnson. There's a lot of question marks week one. We just have no idea how some of these running back rooms are going to work. But from the data we have, this is what I'm going with. Number 24, we have Tyrone Tracy. He is playing the Washington Commanders. Now, the Commanders had the third worst rushing defense last year. So, not a very good matchup for him. Now, it could be Scadabo, it could be Tracy. I think Tracy's still RB1, so I do expect him to get a majority of the touches. Um, he had a good game against the Commanders last year, I remember. I'm a Commanders fan, so I know firsthand. Um, However, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Tyrone Tracy is my fringe RB2 at 24, just because of the good matchup there. Again, I'm going off 2024 stats, so as the season progresses, we'll have more data. Even next week, right? We'll see what's kind of happening. Um, but yeah, Breece Hall, my number 25, playing the Steelers. Really tough defense. Plus, I'm not really a Breece Hall fan. I think Braylon Allen's kind of sneaking in that running back room and taking a lot of work for him. So I'll have him at 25 as a flex start week one. Isaiah Pacheco. Um, Again, a guy I'm not super, he runs hard. Um, has a decent matchup against the Chargers. They're, uh, better on the better half of run D, but they're more in the middle. And they are good against the pass. So, um, should see Pacheco get some work. I know they are talking about Kareem Hunt getting some work, and that rookie they got, Brashad Smith, I think, getting some work. So we'll see how that running back room progresses. That's what kind of the theme of this last slide here. um, David Montgomery, talked about him losing work, but he's playing the Packers, really good run D. Don't think he's going to get much receiving work. He'll probably be like one of those running backs this year that's going to need a touchdown to kind of save their fantasy week, which I hate saying because I do like David Montgomery, but we'll put him at 27 right now. Caleb Johnson 28. Again, he could move up. We'll see how week one goes with the touch split. Um, I do think he'll establish himself as that early down back to get those early down yards, but I think they're going to start the year with Jalen Warren, I would have to guess. Travis Etienne is 29, and Tank Busy is 34. I'll kind of group them together. Reason why I have Etienne a little higher is because of the PPR upside, the passing game upside. They do have a really good matchup this week against the Carolina Panthers, who actually gave up the most rushing yards per game last year at 179.8. It was actually by a lot, by 38 yards. So very bad against the run. Very bad defense overall. Gave up the most touchdowns in the league too. So Travis Etienne, Tank Bisbee, probably find the end zone. One of them does. I like Etienne a little better. So we have him at 29. RJ Harvey is at 30. J.K. Dobbs is at 31. I'll pair them up as well. They are playing the Titans. So pretty solid matchup there. They're bottom 8 in rushing defense. And bottom 5 in touchdowns. So we'll see, if they were actually really good against the pass, the Titans. I wonder if that was because teams just didn't pass on them because they were always up. Um, but yeah, J.K. Dobbins, RJ Harvey. I expect a pretty even split here actually to start the year. and RJ Harvey, I give the edge because I do think he's a better receiving running back. Austin Eckler and JCM, kind of the same deal. Not really sure what's going on with this running back room. So Eckler, I do give the nod for the PPR points, but have them at 32, 33. Jordan Mason, 35. So he does have a good matchup. That Vikings matchup against the Bears, who were bottom five against the run. We'll see how that running back room unfolds. We could see Jordan Mason climbing up. He had a really good, stint on the 49ers last year. So I really like what he can do. And once if Aaron Jones goes down, at all, Jordan Mason's going to become a pretty sought after fantasy option at running back for the Vikings. Have him at 35 for now, but we'll see how that progresses. And then we have Jerome Ford wrapping up the list at 36. Browns running back. Bengals defense is very bad. Always will be. Always has been. Not really, but just seems like they can't fix their defense for some reason. Um, so we'll put him there. Don't expect much from the Browns' run game against one of the better offenses in the league. I expect the Browns to be playing catch up ball pretty much the whole game, so not expecting much rushing work. But yeah, that's the list. Top 36 running back options. Put them in RB1, RB2, RB3 tiers. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.